The Honorable Mig Zubiri is recognized. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to move to declare the position of the Senate President as vacant, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Chair will suspend session and ask Senator Jinggoy Estrada to kindly ascend the rostrum and preside over the session. Senate session is suspended.
Mr. President, at this juncture, may I now move that we proceed with the election of the President of the Senate and recognize the distinguished gentleman from Bukidnon, Senator Zubiri, for his nomination. So move, Mr. President.
An objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have the honor of nominating Senator Vicente C. Sotto III as Senate President. We already know him to be a leader of great integrity, as exemplified by his time as Vice Mayor of Quezon City, as Senate Majority Leader, as Senate Minority Leader, and of course, as Senate President. Having had the honor of working alongside him as his Majority Leader during the 17th and 18th Congress, I witnessed firsthand his peerless leadership and work ethic, and I can say with conviction that he has been nothing short of a reliable and trustworthy leader. As Senate President, he always led with fairness and transparency, and he led with an open ear and a decisive hand, ensuring unity and stability in the Senate at all times. Most importantly, he was a traditionalist in the very best sense of the word, consistently upholding the rules and traditions that protected the integrity of the Senate as the nation's last bastion of democracy. With Senator Sotto as Senate President, the Senate is in good hands. Maraming salamat po, Your Honors.
Thank you, Senator Zubiri, Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, there are no other nominations. Mr. President, I therefore move that we close the period of nomination. So move, Mr.
Any
President.
objection? There being none, the motion is hereby approved.
Mr. President, Senator Ligarda is also seeking the floor. I move that she be recognized, Mr. President.
Senator Legarda is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, the Filipino people have always looked to the Senate as a pillar of our democracy. In times of profound challenges, when our citizens yearn for clarity and wisdom, they expect us to steady the ship and steer it with a clear compass towards safer shores. They do not ask for eloquence alone, but for proof that we can all place country above self and that we can govern with discipline, foresight, and courage. Discipline to resist the distractions of partisanship and to keep public service anchored in principle. Foresight to craft laws that anticipate the future rather than merely react to crisis. And the courage to take the difficult but necessary decisions that secure the long-term welfare of our people, even when they come at significant political cost. Let me emphasize, leadership in this chamber is never a solitary duty. It is a shared guardianship of a trust that belongs to the Filipino people. The Senate at its finest when debate sharpens judgment and unity springs from conviction. This, I believe, is what Senator Vicente Tito Sotto III embodies and why I rise in support of his nomination as Senate President. During my first term long ago, I served as Majority Leader while he was Minority Leader. I witnessed his respect for balance and fairness, ensuring that this chamber remained a forum of reason and accountability. Later, as chair of the Committee on Finance under his Senate presidency, I saw his firm hand in guiding our work, listening to every voice, building consensus, reminding us constantly that governance must yield tangible results for the people. These are qualities tested by time and proven by service. Senator Tito Sotto commands respect through fairness, humility, and his ability to unite diverse voices. For these reasons, I second the nomination of Senator Vicente Sotto III as Senate President.
Thank you, Senator Legarda.
Mr. President, move for the previous motion, there being no other nomination. So move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by the Majority Leader and seconded by Senator Loren Legarda that the nomination be closed. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved. There being no other nominees for the position Senator Vicente Sotto, the only nominee for the position of the Senate President, is hereby declared as the newly elected President of the Senate.
Mr. President, may I move that we suspend the session to allow the newly elected Senate President to take his oath, Mr. President?
Session is hereby suspended.
May we proceed with the oath taking of the newly elected Senate President, Mr. President?
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name.
I, Vicente C. Sotto III,
Having been elected to the position of Senate President,
having been elected to the position of Senate President,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position
the duties of my present position,
and of all others I may hereafter hold
and of all others I may hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines.
under the Republic of the Philippines,
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
That I will obey the laws,
that I will obey the laws,
legal orders,
legal orders,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith and allegiance
and maintain true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of the Philippines.
to the Republic of the Philippines,
And that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily,
and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily,
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, citizen.
Thank you, sir.
May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Session is suspended.
Mr. President, at this juncture, may I move that we recognize the distinguished former Senate President, Senator Escudero, to make a manifestation, Mr. President.
The former Senate President, Senator Escudero, is hereby recognized for a manifestation.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. Senate President. Nais ko lamang po magbigay ng maikling manifestasyon. Nais ko pong magpasalamat sa mga kapwa ko miyembro ng Senado na nagbigay po ng tiwala sa akin sa 19th at saka 20th Congress. Nais ko din po magpasalamat sa mga opisyal at kawani ng Senado. Karangalan ko po na pagsilbihan kayo at manilbihan kasama kayo nitong nagdaang taon. I serve at the pleasure, Mr. President, of the majority and understand and respect the decision of the majority of my colleagues. I hold no grudges. I hold no ill feelings. I congratulate Senator Vicente Tito Sotto III on his election as Senate President, and I wish you well, Mr. Senate President. Nandito lamang po ako bilang ordinaryong miyembro para pagsilbihan at paglingkuran kayo sa anumang kapasidad na pwede at kaya ko bilang bahagi ng Senadong ito. During my tenure, Mr. President, the Senate did not shy away from confronting the difficult questions facing our nation. We passed a record number of laws that helped uplift the lives of our countrymen. We conducted hearings that unearthed corruption on a scale rarely seen before, and in doing so, we remind the public that accountability is not a mere empty rhetoric, but a duty that we must uphold. Maski na papano, sa ilalim po ng aking panunungkulan at sa pangunguna ni Congressman Rodante Marcoleta, may ilang bagay po tayong nakamit at nagawa. Nakapagsalita na ng bombo kaninang umaga si Congressman Toby Chanco at nabanggit lahat ng nais niyang sabihin hindi nasabi sa kabilang kamera. Nasabi na rin po, Ginoong Pangulo, ang the name that cannot be mentioned, ang pangalan ni Speaker Martin Romualdez at Congressman Zaldico sa pamamagitan ng paghihiring kanina pong hapon. And as a final act earlier, Mr. President, I signed upon the request of Congressman Marcoleta the contempt order of Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez, putting him under detention already here in the Senate. Mr. President, I am proud of what the Senate has accomplished together, and I trust that the spirit of transparency and courage that have been displayed by this chamber will be sustained. Sana po, mapagpatuloy natin to. Let justice and the rule of law be done and followed, though the heavens may fall. Thank you again, Mr. President, and please accept once again my warmest congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Senate President.
Thank you very much, and we thank the distinguished former Senate President, Senator Escudero, for his magnanimity and the work that he is, the service that he has given the Senate and the Filipino people. Thank you, Mr. Senator.
I move that we recognize the distinguished gentleman from Bukidnon, Senator Mig Zubiri, for his nomination. I so move, Mr. President.
The gentleman from Bukidnon, Senator Mig Subiri, is recognized. No.
I will not move for the declaration of. Mr. President, if there be no objection of our distinguished colleagues, I move to honor and nominate. It is my honor, rather, to nominate Senator Panfilo Lacson as the Senate President pro tempore. We need in the Senate leadership a man of courage, integrity, and loyalty, embodied best by no other than Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson. Throughout his celebrated career as police officer and as lawmaker, Senator Ping has been consistent in his pursuit of truth, fairness, and accountability in public service. He has married his background as Chief of the Philippine National Police with his lawmaking duties, ensuring that our public offices are always held accountable for and to the people. And if you want to know more about him, you can watch his movie, 10,000 Hours. As Senate President pro tempore, Mr. President, we trust that he will be instrumental in upholding the integrity of the Senate and fostering a stronger environment of trust in all our public institutions. This is why I give my wholehearted support to Senator Ping Lacson as Senate President pro tempore. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Subiri.
Mr. President, there being no other nomination, I move to close the period. The Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Risa Hontiveros, is seeking the floor. I move that she be recognized, Mr. President.
Senator Risa Hontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. With pride and respect, I second the nomination of my late husband's former Chief PNP and my respected colleague in the minority as Senate President pro tempore. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Loren Legarda is recognized.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, ang tama ay ipaglaban, ang mali ay labanan. These words capture the essence of Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson's public service. They are not mere slogans, but a creed he has lived by in more than 50 years of public service as a police officer, humanitarian, and legislator. On just the 12th session day of this Congress, while many committees were still preparing to organize, Senator Lacson had already pieced together a puzzle long hidden from the public eye. True to his role as the watchdog of the national budget, he examined budget allocations line by line and deployed his team to the ground. This is the work of Senator Lacson, to let truth speak through evidence and prove that integrity is not negotiable. His diligence does not rest on rhetoric, but on facts that cannot be silenced, on unrelenting investigation, and on a discipline that few can match. Time and again, he has shown that his purpose is singular: to confront corruption head-on, to ensure that the Filipino people receive nothing less than clean and honest governance. No one dares question his commitment to his standard, for if there is one word that defines Senator Ping Lacson, it is incorruptible, a proof that one man's integrity and principle can raise the standard for us all. For these reasons, I second the nomination of Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson as Senate President pro tempore. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Legarda. The Majority
Mr.
Leader.
President, move for the previous motion that we close the period of nomination, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The period of nomination is closed.
Thank you, Mr. President. We congratulate our dear colleague, Senator Panfilo Lacson, as our newly elected Senate President pro tem.
With that, Senator Panfilo Lacson is hereby elected President pro tem of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, may we recognize the distinguished lady from Antique, Senator Loren Legarda, for her nomination.
Senator Loren Legarda is recognized.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise today to nominate Senator Juan Miguel Migs Zubiri as Majority Leader of the Senate. He is a leader who has consistently proven himself to be a consensus builder, a consultative leader, and a legislator whose more than 2 decades of service have been marked by diligence and perfect attendance. At only 39 years of age, during the 14th Congress, he became the youngest to hold the position of Majority Leader. He would once again assume this role during the 17th and 18th Congresses, bringing with him greater depth and wisdom to bridge differences and unify voices to keep this chamber focused on the greater good. The heart of the Senate lies in its legislative mill, the day-to-day turn of bills and resolutions from our committees to the plenary. This is our solemn duty, and Senator Zubiri, our trabajador ng Senado, has proven himself to be a tireless worker, ensuring that this institution delivers on its promise to the Filipino people. In the 19th Congress, we entrusted him with an even greater responsibility as Senate President, where he upheld the independence of this institution, guided debates with impartiality, and protected the integrity of its proceedings. Under his leadership, the Senate of the Filipino people remained firm, fearless, and faithful to its constitutional role. Today, as we once again choose who shall lead us as Majority Leader, we look to one whose record speaks for itself. For these reasons, it is my distinct honor and privilege to nominate Senator Juan Miguel Migs Zubiri as Senate Majority Leader. Thank you.
Senator Risa Ontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Again, with pride, I am honored to second the nomination of Senator Zubiri, our former Majority Leader, with whom many of us, including in the old minority, passed a good number of happy bills, and my colleague as well now in the minority. I so second his nomination as Majority Leader. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, there being no other nominees, Mr. President, I move that we close the period of nomination for the position of the Majority Leader. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator
President.
Mig Zubiri is hereby elected Majority Leader or Chairman of the Committee on Rules.
Thank you, Mr. President. We congratulate our dear colleague, Senator Zubiri, as our newly elected Majority Leader. Mr. President, may I move that we suspend the session to allow our Senate President pro tempore and the Majority Leader to take their respective oaths of office, one after the other. So move, Mr. President.
Thank you, thank you, Majority Leader. Senator Joel Villanueva, for your service to the Senate and the Filipino people.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Session is suspended.